Glad to have you all here. My name is Rick Dunn. I'm the Executive Director of the Naugatuck Valley Council of Governments. We're the newly consolidated Naugatuck Valley Council of Governments. We are shaped by the merger of the former Valley Council of Governments, the Council of Governments of the Central Naugatuck Valley, and the CCRPA, the Central Connecticut Regional Planning Agency, parts of that region as well. As a Council of Governments, we are charged with a much wider mission than, I guess, what you'd call your father's planning agency. We're now led by a board of directors consisting of the 19 chief elected officials of NVCOG's 19 municipalities. And we take on whatever mission the board directs us to. Whatever they think will most benefit their communities, that's what the COG does. I want to clear up a popular misconception about us and COGs in general, and a misconception even within our business. We're not a separate organization. We're not a different level of government. We are an extension of municipal government. We're a creature of those towns, and we act really as an adjunct to town staff. So when we're out there doing work, we're doing it on behalf of the communities as part of those communities. We take on the tasks of local government, but implementing services and planning on a regional basis. So across town borders, where we can better plan, take a better view of what it is we're doing. With that explanation, please let me introduce one of the key people behind this organization and the redefinition of the COG mission. Born in the city of Waterbury, Neil M. O'Leary joined the Waterbury Police Department in 1980, continuing a family tradition of public service, and rose through the ranks, becoming chief in 2004, then serving in that role until his retirement in 2009. Following his retirement, he was recruited by the town of Wolcott to serve as police chief there to help rebuild the management structure and modernize its department. In 2011, Mayor O'Leary stepped down in Wolcott to run for the mayor of Waterbury. He took office here in December 2011. Since then, Mayor O'Leary has focused on economic development, bringing more than 1,250 jobs to Waterbury. His oft-repeated phrase is, "Waterbury's open for business." And trust me, he means it. Mayor O'Leary's economic development team has brought a strong mix of retail, manufacturing, restaurant, and professional services by highlighting Waterbury's skilled workforce and instituting state-of-the-art training in the latest technologies. He has concentrated relentlessly on skills, technology, transportation, and quality of life, the building blocks of any municipal economy. In recognition of his effort and his initiative, his colleagues at the U.S. Conference of Mayors elected Mayor O'Leary vice chair of the National Advanced Manufacturing Task Force. He has also made Waterbury a leader in the pursuit of getting brownfields back to productive use, unlocking the value of that infrastructure and positioning them for new development by the private sector. As he has used public investments by the state and federal governments, all in support of a plan to make his town a 21st century business destination, realizing that in order to achieve his goals and those of his counterparts across the region, he needed to advance the development of the regional infrastructure that connects and benefits us all. So in 2013, he took on a leadership role in forming our new region. In 2014, he was unanimously elected as the chair of the Naugatuck Valley Council of Governments and its affiliated metropolitan planning organizations that plans and funds the region's federal transportation initiatives. I have been in the business of government administration for over 25 years, but I've learned much about the art of management from my new boss. I'm proud to work both with him and for him. I'm pleased to introduce the chairman of the Naugatuck Valley Council of Governments and the mayor of the city of Waterbury, the Honorable Mayor Neil M. O'Leary.
Thank you. Good morning. I could have used that speech during the campaign. How's everybody doing this morning? I'd like to welcome you to the great city of Waterbury and one of the finest theaters in the Northeast, our Palace Theater. I've heard from several people here this morning that this is the first time that they've been here, so we're really, really pleased to and thank Rick for choosing this particular venue. The more people that get to see the inside of this theater, it's really It's really one of our most positive developments here in Waterbury over the last decade. As chairman of the Naugatuck Valley Council of Governments, I'm excited to host this conference today to create a new vision for our future, where infrastructure and technology, transportation and bandwidth bring new prosperity to the corridor. There are a tremendous number of positive things going on through the Naugatuck Valley region, working together with a private sector that is searching for lower cost, higher quality business locations in the Northeast. We have been tireless in our efforts to transform our region into an even more valuable location for business and investment. From Shelton to Bethlehem, across to Bristol, down to Cheshire and back to Fairfield County, the new Naugatuck Valley region represents the whole of Connecticut, urban, suburban, and rural. As the largest city in the corridor, the city of Waterbury holds the key to unlocking the value tied up in its infrastructure. We have focused these past 4 years on marketing Waterbury to the development community and fighting for public investments that will make us a premier destination for business. However, it's not just Waterbury. All of our communities have so many things to be proud of in this regard. Shelton has shown the way in reclaiming and rebuilding its waterfront with 500 new condominiums and apartments that have attracted young professionals who have revived its entertainment and restaurant trade. Naugatuck is negotiating public-private partnerships to redevelop the area between its train station and downtown into a mixed-use, transit-oriented development. Bristol just announced a partnership to turn Depot Square into a medical complex with a strong commercial development component that will create 300 jobs and generate retail demand in its downtown. Ansonia, Derby, Wolcott, and Thomaston are just some of our other towns and cities that are taking the initiative and seeing renewed interest in their accessible commercial and industrial sites. Public investment must continue in the things that connect us regionally and globally, especially with regard to transportation and technology. A big part of that involves addressing certain issues from our past. Like many cities in the Northeast, Waterbury was home to some of the most prominent industries of the past 200 years, notably the brass industry. Throughout this valley, we manufactured metals, rubber, plastics. We shipped machine parts and timepieces and precision tools around the world. We have had to become adept at addressing the industrial legacy of our past, the brownfield sites, where many of these plants were located. In Waterbury, we have been working toward this goal for the last 4 years, taking the legacy of our 20th century manufacturing and making new public investments to clear these sites, equalize their value with clean sites, and make them available for private development. We have the confidence of both the state and federal governments who are investing with us in restoring our economic base. With us today is the Deputy Commissioner of the Department of Economic Development, Tim Sullivan, who has been a critical component of this brownfield redevelopment initiative. We have leveraged these investments to put the cost of these properties in line with their actual value. It is very difficult to market a site, no matter how good its location, if there's an uncertain cleanup cost. When we take remediation out of the equation, we've seen major progress. Recycling these urban properties gives the taxpayers the best bang for their economic development buck. Working with my counterparts across Naugatuck Valley, we have cataloged every site that needs work, inventoried the remediation each one requires, and the scheduled timelines for returning them to the marketplace. The Regional Brownfields Partnership, which Waterbury belongs to, has been helping bring about these types of turnarounds for properties throughout our region for nearly 20 years. However, the market we are selling to is a much different one than the economy that supported the heavy industries of before. Transportation and technology are the keys to this new market. All indicators and trends show that most young people prefer to be in walkable urban areas where they can both live and work, where technology is all around them and all their needs are convenient to a bus or train ride. The marketplace has demonstrated that business is following them and accelerating this trend towards re-urbanization. For the last 40 years, the suburbanization of our society drove business from cities to the suburbs as globalization drove industry and manufacturing overseas. Now, business is reversing field. shifting away from the suburban office parks and moving back to the cities. We must again invest in ourselves if we hope to compete for the businesses of the 21st century. If we make these investments, we can capitalize on our region's strengths and foster a regional economy based on Connecticut's strengths, one of which prominently is advanced manufacturing. According to an April 2015 study by the New England Council and Deloitte Consulting, Connecticut has a substantial edge in advanced manufacturing and the biotech world. With new investment in our transportation and technology networks, the Naugatuck Valley can exploit our advantages in connectivity, location, and education workforce to take advantage of the trend in reurbanization. Our region was at the forefront of promoting this industry segment. Thanks to Governor Malloy, Naugatuck Valley Community College was one of only 3 state community colleges to establish a state-of-the-art advanced manufacturing center back in 2012. That program has been turning out graduates who are now going directly into the workforce for manufacturers, not only in Waterbury, but in this greater region. In fact, if you speak with any longtime manufacturing company in this area, they will tell you that a major reason they're here is our skilled workforce that meets their needs. That is the strongest point that they'll make to you. We must also invest in the next generation. You may have noticed a large, multicolored building on the hill to the north of I-84 on your way here this morning. That is the Waterbury Career Academy, which is a high school. We recognized here in Waterbury that with a very limited number of slots for our city students in the area VOTEC schools, our school system was missing a huge opportunity to educate our young people to fill local jobs, specifically in manufacturing. And that is why that school has a 7,000 square foot manufacturing center within its walls. There are great reasons for a business to operate in the Naugatuck Valley region. We're a community comprised of strong, stable neighborhoods, and our center city, Waterbury, is one of the safest cities in the eastern seaboard with a population over 100,000. However, our ability to capitalize on all this for the long term lies in the investments in connectivity. Everything from super fast internet to transit networks to walkable neighborhoods, this essential connection at all levels of the community serves to attract, incubate, and grow business. We have to make those investments in transit, high-speed rail, and gigabit technology along the Naugatuck Valley corridor to evolve our region into 21st century business destination. We are fortunate to be located at the crossroads of 2 major highways, I-84 and Route 8. If you ask many of the businesses that are here, they'll tell you that our location at the intersection of these highways is a large part of why they call the Valley home. What I have learned over the years, in my years in government and role as vice chairman at the U.S. Conference of Mayors in the Advanced Manufacturing Task Force, is that the location of business is no longer just about cost or even taxes. I've learned that these regions and governments who recognize how to capitalize on this shift in industry, and especially in manufacturing, to grab a piece of the pie for themselves will be the community's most demand in the future. And I mean that very, very sincerely. And I know that's all we ever hear about is taxes, taxes, taxes. And don't get me wrong, I'm not going to go down that road. It's a slippery slope. But let me just tell you this, and I'm telling you this with all sincerity and honesty. If you have a skilled workforce, our manufacturers will tell you on any given week or month or year that they can hire more people. We just can't find the workforce to fill the positions. And that's why we built the $70 million high school that has a factory within its walls. And that's why we were fortunate enough to get the advanced manufacturing facility at Naugatuck Valley Task Force. So picture this. Our students will go right into manufacturing at the high school age, and then hopefully learn enough skills in high school where some of them can go right into the workforce. Many of them will go right from the Career Academy right into the Naugatuck Valley Advanced Manufacturing facility there. And once they leave there, they are extraordinarily marketable. And although we just started that in 2012, and we just opened the Career Academy in 2013, there's tremendous, tremendous support from our manufacturing community. Over 100 manufacturers have participated in creating the curriculum at both the community college and the high school to fill their needs. We are exactly the type of corridor with the right investments that can become one of these new communities. We just need to recognize our assets and continue to invest in ourselves to create the conditions for businesses to grow and prosper. Thankfully, the region has a tremendous partner in Governor Malloy when it comes to making investments in brownfields and transportation. Since I took office 4 years ago, we have worked with state and federal officials for the improvements to the Waterbury branch line that are now underway and will bring increased ridership and connectivity to the entire region. Last year, a long-needed widening project of Interstate 84 through Waterbury began. I cannot mention these transformative state transportation initiatives without thanking Connecticut DOT Commissioner James Redeker, who has been our partner in every way imaginable, and he is up next to speak. The federal government has demonstrated an unprecedented commitment and belief in our plans here in Waterbury with the awarding for the first time ever of a $19.4 million Tiger grant to the city. This will open the Freight Street corridor and downtown to the kind of transit-oriented development that will set the example of TOD for the rest of the region and increase property values, spurring private investment around all of our transit hubs. We need to get behind the transformative plans to add a northern route on the future Northeast Corridor high-speed rail system. Had to sneak that one in, Commish. Establishing a true high-speed rail stop at the Waterbury station, connecting to our Waterbury branch line commuter rail at a key point between Boston and New York. The second part of investing in ourselves to make the single most important technology investment that will allow this highly connected region to become an advanced manufacturing center of the future. Gigabit fiber networking. This is an ultra-high-speed internet technology running at hundreds of times the speed of current connection, which draws companies to its hubs, makes the cost of business cheaper and the speed of business faster. The Naugatuck Valley region has to be leading the charge to develop that technology right here. We must complete our brownfields work to open up our vast network of riverfront infrastructure to the new development along our rail lines and our BRT systems. The benefits of this are big, especially as we recoup the value of these older investments and put them back to work for our new and next generation. However, this also means not only cleaning brownfields because there's a bankable deal on the table, but also reclaiming them for future development as parks and public spaces along our rivers. We need to continue to do projects like Waterbury's Pal Park, a former brownfield that is now a key site for recreational opportunities for our inner city youth. All of this, my friends, is what we should envision for the future of the Naugatuck Valley region. Public investments that attract businesses drawn to our easy connections around the state and throughout the DC to Boston corridor. Enticed by incomparably fast gigabit technologies, both manufacturers and small technology companies will want to be here, following the people who will want to live in our downtowns connected by convenient transit between our urban hubs. I am proud to work with our partner communities in the greater Naugatuck Valley to build on our collective strengths and facilitate investment for an even stronger regional economy. I'd now like to take a moment to talk to you about our next speaker, who has been a vital, vital part of everything that I just spoke about. James Redeker was named Commissioner of the Connecticut Department of Transportation by Governor Malloy in August of 2011. He is responsible for overseeing the statewide system of highway operations and maintenance, capital project design and construction, public transportation, and ports. Jim also serves on the board at the Connecticut Airport Authority. He is deeply involved in transportation coordination between the northeastern states, chairing the Northeast Corridor Commission that has the responsibility for the creation and implementation of regional investment strategies for the Northeast Corridor. Jim also chairs the Standing Committee on Rail Transportation. He is a member of the Executive Committee of the Transportation Research Board. Jim joined the Connecticut DOT in 2009 after a 30-year career with New Jersey Transit. And I can tell you personally that his work in Connecticut has made all the difference in the world for our cities and towns. Jim gets things done. He has changed the culture and attitude of the DOT and instituted innovative practices that now plan and deliver projects on time and on budget. Ladies and gentlemen, I am very pleased to introduce a man who has been a valued partner to me and this great city, as Waterbury is open for business and our region's most important ally in every possible way, Commissioner James Redeker.